Today we're taking a look at a pretty cool collab. It's Melgeek X Evangelion. It's an official collaboration and it created some pretty unique peripherals. There are two main editions available. We have Asuka and then we have Rei. So both of these girls are kind of the more popular characters in the anime and they decided to have it themed around them. Now I have with me the Centauri 80, the Rei edition. I initially thought it was just a keyboard, not gonna lie, but they sent over their mouse and desk mat as well. Now let's start things off with the unboxing. The whole experience is actually really nice. It's all about the details on the packaging, small little references everywhere as you're unboxing the package. Everything is very cohesive. The colors, the text, it's a very well thought out experience for the customer unboxing the packages. Now before we get into the keyboard, I do want to say how impressed I am by this mouse. This is their Horus mouse. It usually retails at $119. My initial impression to a collab, normally if a keyboard or some sort of a peripheral collabs with an anime, it usually comes out a little corny. They kind of just slap something on there and then call it a collab because that's basically what it is. But this design on the mouse is actually really cool. If they were lazy, they could just slap her face here and call it a day. But there is small details here and there that actually makes the mouse look cooler than that. The accent colors on the side buttons alongside the details on the shell and the mouse buttons, and my favorite part, the scroll wheel, it's all really clean. It comes off as a really clean design. From afar, you probably couldn't even tell it's a collab with an anime. It just looks like a really cool mouse. And I feel like that isn't very easy to achieve, especially if you're doing a collab. So this is a really good job in terms of design. Now the keyboard, on the other hand, not exactly my favorite in terms of aesthetic. We have this very broad kind of casing with a ton of detailing around the board. The metal accents, the knob, towards the top we have a nameplate as well, and on the back a bunch of engravings. We have Rei herself as the main design element engraved. The one and only thing I would change about this keyboard is the keycaps. My personal preference isn't translucent or transparent keycaps, but I do kind of get the idea that this matches the theme of Evangelion more. But personally, I feel like it takes away too much attention away from the keyboard itself. So with opaque keycaps, you'll be able to focus more on the design elements on the case, because this case has so much going on for it with all these little details on the front, on the back, the knob, the screen, the metal accents. It's a lot. And then we have translucent keycaps, and then when the RGB is on, all you see is that light from the backlight. So as I mentioned, aside from the design, we have some pretty cool functions as well. We have an OLED touchscreen. It's actually really responsive. You can swipe through for the standard settings that you want to look for. Otherwise, just display a cool image. Now moving on to specs and their web-based software. On the board itself, below the knob, there's this button which, as long as you click it, it actually goes straight to their web-based software. It's such a genius idea to do that because I don't have to go and search Melgeek software. It just click the button, opens up Google, Bing, Melgeek software appears. All you have to do is just start changing things there. It's so smart and so good for beginners. Now, starting with the board, we have some pretty standard set of custom keyboard features, lighting changes, different profiles, remapping of keys. It has 8000 Hz polling rate, 0.01mm rapid trigger, custom actuation, all the other features like Rappy Snappy, SOCD. You get the idea. It's the modern standard for gaming keyboards. It's everything that you know and love from HE keyboards. And moving on to the mouse, it's also pretty simple. We have the remapping, polling rate, DPI stages. But one thing I do really like about the UI for the polling rate is that they tell you the rough battery life for running your mouse at different polling rates. I think they do it for the board as well, which is such a good idea because as someone who isn't very familiar with polling rate, if I was a beginner and I wanted just max polling rate, 8000 Hz polling rate, then I would realize my mouse would only last like 28 hours or something. All in all, the web-based software is no disappointment, as it should be, because when it comes to gaming peripherals such as a mice and a gaming keyboard with HE features, the software is one of the most important things from a customer's perspective, because we are changing everything on that one singular software. Now, I tested it out for a few days of gaming, mainly playing CS2, and it's actually been really nice. The OLED screen actually automatically changes over to a preview of each key and the actuation point, so you can actually gauge what your custom actuation should be based on what you're clicking, what keys you've been clicking on, and you kind of see that bar glowing up and down. It's actually really cool. This is the first time I felt that the screen was something I wanted to look at during my gaming sessions. So as usual, here's some cooler clips I hit during my week of testing this out. Now, you know, the board's cool, the mouse is probably my favorite from the whole set, but how much does it cost? If you were to guess, if I were to guess, I would have been like $200-300. It's $459 for the board itself. If you want the mouse or the desk mat, it's an extra couple $100. They have different prices based on which peripherals you're looking for. You can get a whole set just like I did, or with the board and the mouse only without the desk mat. You can get the board with the desk mat. There are different kits available on the website. To be fair, it is a limited run. They're not going to restock this ever again, and the quality of the boards themselves are actually pretty good. The mouse itself is something I really like. Actually, I feel like I would be using this when my Razer dies or something. And aside from that, it is an official collab, which kind of adds to the cost of creating this whole product, and I think they did a pretty good job. They did a very good job with design especially, and they didn't just randomly just go past all the features that we would want from the custom keyboard community. So all in all, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10, but unless you are a crazy Evangelion fan or some major Evangelion fan, anime fan, and you love Rei or Asuka, then this is definitely for you. So if you're interested, I'll have a link in the description down below. Aside from that, thank you so much for the wait. I know it's been like a month or 2 months since I did a video, but the shop in Singapore, the card shop that I opened in Singapore, the past 2 videos, it's been tiring, man. I initially thought that starting up the store was the tiring part, but I guess not, because running the store is a whole other level at this point. So I'm trying to figure things out as I go. I'm trying to get more stuff at the same time. So for now, I'm gonna keep things to a slow pace, but I'm pretty sure by the next month, which is September, we'll have things rolling as we used to be. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe if you enjoyed my content, comment your thoughts on the board down below, like this video if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.